So, coming back to our topic um, about your guru, Muralidhara Swami, can you just uh, frame him in your mind, what he is about, and
Yes.
how do you actually define him?
Yes. He is a philosopher in English. Okay, is Swamiji. He is based in Chennai. He propagates the path of love and universal acceptance. And he chooses the path of Nam Sankirtana, what is called as Bhagavata Dharma in our Sanatana Dharma. It's called Yuga Dharma, which means as the time progresses, the Dharma changes. For this Yuga, where people are so busy, and you ask them, can you do dhyana? They'll say, I'm busy. Can you do puja? I'm busy. Can you do havan? I'm busy. I don't have materials. But for Nama Sankirtana, you can't say you're busy because you can chant when you're walking, when you're in the bus or you're in the midst of something. So that's the reason why it's an easy way for us to get the grace of Bhagavan by actually chanting the divine names of Bhagavan. So he's propagating the simple path to the masses in the villages, towns and cities. And he's inspired a lot of people across the world to do this simple path of coming together, do Nam Sankirtana, no other business there. You just chant and live. So that it is pure and it is really spiritual and many people get benefited from it.
Wonderful. And eventually, I'd like to hear about, you did define about success. I just want to hear about the word peace in your own.
Okay. The word peace or Shanti in our Sanatana Dharma has been taken to a very high extent. You see, Shanti is not something which we taste in a temporal way. Paramam Shanti Mupaiti, it is said in Upanishads. Real peace is that which is lasting. And the real peace actually means no resistance. Real peace would actually means acceptance even if there is a disagreement. So real peace is not a static peace where you cut off from the world and you try to insulate yourself. The peace is the poise and understanding and the experience of oneness in the midst of this chaotic world. So that's the challenge Sanatana Dharma gives us. It's called the dynamic silence of within. That happens when you are aware about who you really are and the purpose why I am here in the first place. When you're clear about the purpose, irrespective of ups and downs in life, we get that peace and we get the poise to progress.
So you did define very well about success and peace. Now, how do you define money?
Money?
Because
Money-
in this worldly,
No, there is nothing called worldly if you ask me. Money is what is called as a dharma vahini. It is an instrument or it is a vehicle for dharma. And money it's sacred. You see, we worship money not the way in which the West worships money. We worship the actual purpose of money, which is dharma. And without dharma, higher life is not possible. So money is merely a vehicle. Just like how you look at a car for taking you from A and B, and car is not end in itself. Likewise, money is not an end in itself, but it's an important ingredient for us to progress in the path of dharma. And I guess that's what the money has to be defined, where money is not an end in itself, but put it to a good purpose or put it to a right end is the trick of understanding life and money.
wonderful. Thank you very much. And finally, your words about for the youth, the next generations, and in your own words, what do you wish to say?
Since you asked a general question, I would rather make it specific for youth
Youth.
from an Indian background, American
Perfect.
youth of
Makes sense.
Indian lineage, or what do you call it, origin. I think it's important for them, apart from other things which they anyway learn from other speakers, is they need to know one regional language to read, write, and speak. Could be Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, etc. And second thing is they should at least develop one fine art. Could be music, dance, painting, because these two are the ones which can inspire them to lead a higher life and go back to their roots when they want to. Suppose I am a person from Telugu origin, and in 40 years I am inspired to read Bhagavatam. How can you read Potana Bhagavatam when you can't read Telugu? And the translation of Potana Bhagavatam is not even close. So when you know Telugu, you can use that and say, now that I am interested, thankfully I have the power to relish, enjoy and dwell deep into something which is full of wisdom, rasa and aesthetic sense. So I think one regional language, depending on where the parents came from, can be taught. And linguists say that if you know an extra language, your general intelligence also improves. So it's anyway good for their career too. And I think one fine art, because that which separates men from machines is aesthetic sense and the sense of appreciating finer things in life. And when you're rushing through the life, we need to pause and enjoy finer things. And fine arts training helps you to practice it in all aspects of your life, you see. I think those two would be the most important picks on a very general way of looking at it.
Wonderful message, and thank you very much
Thank
for your
you,
time,
Mr.
especially on your busy day here. And you're doing. I mean, I have been watching the kids learning some aspects of your teaching. So wonderful, and thanks very much for your time to TV9, and I appreciate all your.
Yeah, I would like to, of course, thank TV9 for on behalf of Love to Share Foundation. It's not easy to cover such offbeat events, and I'm glad that you see the importance and vitality of covering things which sort of add value to the society in a spiritual way. And I thank you with bottom of my heart, and I pray to the divine couple that TV9 thrives and reaches more and more people, inspire more and more to lead a higher life and a happier life and a more purposeful life.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Our pleasure.